Well, we are back again for our round 7 review show. Plenty to talk about, as you see in the agenda and the talking points for tonight. There is plenty going on. There's plenty of fired up people, I'm sure, that's going to be in the comments. So make sure you have your say. It'll pop up on the screen as it always does. We've got Jesse in the house. Super coach has gone to shit house. I don't know how. I haven't even asked Adam yet, but captaining Ponga today has gone down like a lead balloon. So that was fantastic to see. Adam's probably beaten us once again. He's not even on the Super Coach show. Might have to start getting him on because we didn't even crack 1,000 this week. So that's been shit house. All our teams lost on the weekend as well. And obviously, ours was an abomination, Adam. We're going to get a bit fired up, no doubt. I know a lot of people watching will get fired up and want to have their say. Jezzy's out, unfortunately. He's got a few things going on. I think he's dealing with today's loss still, which is understandable. I think he played a bit of golf as well and has done a shoulder or something with his backswing being just too strong. So, as I said, guys, make sure you're in the comments. Make sure you having your say. The shows are the best once you're all participating. First of all, boys, before we get stuck into it, I just want to see what caught your eye on the weekend, a team or an individual.
Can we talk about Supercoach quickly, like this FYI? No, I screwed up and forgot to take my captain off Pappenhausen, even though I tipped the Roosters. So my captain choice wasn't that
captain than us.
Yeah, I still won my game by 300 points because the guy was playing captain Ponga as well.
Yeah, I'm right there with him.
I scored 1,044. 1,044, by the way, guys.
Yeah, I think I was like 952 or something. It was abysmal.
Yeah, I was 915 or something ridiculous. And Jesse tried to tell me this morning I was going to pump him by a couple hundred. So, yeah, that feels really good to be in this situation. But, boys, I'm going to go first and just say the Bulldogs have caught my eye actually the last couple of weeks. I know they haven't been winning every single game, but they've been in the contest. Today, I know they're versing a Knights team that we'll talk about a bit more. And I know Adam would love to talk about it. They weren't great at all today, living off maybe a little bit of old hype that their coach is still talking about as well, which I found interesting. But yeah, their performance today, they were on fire, and it was a controlled performance. They weren't trying to just throw everything at him. They were sort of really worked into the game, and I like to see that from a Bulldogs team. Jesse, team or an individual that caught your eye?
I didn't really watch a great deal of footy this weekend, but I did watch a particular half of footy that caught my eye, and it was the Dolphins versus the Eels.
Thanks.
I don't know what was more impressive, whether it was the Dolphins just going ballistic or if the Eels were really just that bad.
We'll talk about that.
Whatever it was, it was just great to watch. Max Plath was it was just good to see. A lot of young blokes just getting out and just tearing up. Unfortunately, tearing up your Eels side, but it's just good to see some actual, some decent footy. But yeah, I didn't watch a great deal this weekend. Only a couple of games here and there. So yeah, wild times.
Probably a good round to choose to sort of zone out a couple. Yeah. Adam, individual or team that caught your eye this weekend?
No, fuck it. I'm going mine away from footy. Footy, the Maitland Pumpkin Pickers in the footy. Here we go. Look. My thing for the week and what caught my eye was there's a life outside of football. I turned off football after Friday night, didn't watch another NRL game. I went to the local game yesterday, and today I went and saw a musical in Sydney. So, look, I had a good weekend. I recovered my weekend. The only positive I will add is when results come through. What saves your weekend is when your team gets smashed is your least favourite team getting pretty comprehensively smashed as well.
It always makes some things a little bit better. So, Jesse, we're going to put the blowtorch on your team in a way, plus your coach at the moment, Trent Robinson. It's caught my eye lately, just how he's been after matches and how he's very, very quick to blame the referees, whether right or wrong. It's just not like Trent Robinson to do this so often. Like I think we've seen him in the past do it like once or something. It's felt like it's been 3 weeks in a row now. He's really come out and given it to the officials. Now, I sort of take that as in there's a little bit of pressure starting to build up there because we know in the off-season there was a lot of talk about the Roosters really wanting to make sure this year they started well. Now, they're still sitting at the moment, I think it's 11th or 12th on the ladder. They haven't started on fire like they probably would have liked. And we're starting to see a little bit of cracks there with the coach. Is everything all good there with your coach and your club, or is there a little bit of concerns that even you as a supporter can see?
Yeah, no, he's under the pump. He's shitting himself. I feel like Trent Robinson's he's been doing it for years, man. I feel like whenever there's a loss that comes around, that even if there's one slight call that may not have gone his way, he's very quick to not say he's not going to come out and blame the ref and point a finger, but he's going to do this sort of generic like, oh, this is kind of how things are happening at the moment. So it's very broad. So he's not pointing any fingers, and I think it's kind of the only way that he can do it without getting in trouble. And he's kind of worked it out to a very fine art where he can point the finger and no one seems to really do much about it. So um, I would say he would have to be under the pump though. Like he's got to be getting some pressure on him because this is like the third year in a row now that the Roosters have started off terribly with a lot of pressure and a lot more players back this season too to start the year with that they could have done a lot more work with. So um, yeah, he'd have to be feeling it for sure. But I just can't see the Roosters ever flicking him. That's the thing. I feel like they have to let him walk out the door himself. So you're just going to have to put up with it, unfortunately.
They've got themselves in a little bit of a corner, haven't they, with that? Because you keep hearing about what was it now, 5 years ago now that he won the back-to-back comps with the Roosters, and now look at things. It's crazy to think as Parra supporters, Adam, that a team can be putting pressure on their coach after winning 2 comps 5 years ago. But Adam, where do you see it with Trent Robinson? Because look, to be fair, especially on the weekend, like what he was talking about, Nelson sort of, he did touch him, but I don't think he really involved himself too much with that push. The try where Melbourne scored at Xavier Coates, I actually thought they sort of ran an escort on him and made him sort of fall into, I think it was Manu there as well. So it was sort of helped by the Roosters doing an illegal play as such to get him in that position. So where are you seeing things with Trent Robinson?
Yeah, first of all, I'll take him in a heartbeat if he's looking for a new club. I think he's one bloke that can coach. And as for your comment, Jesse, worried about a fine, so being careful what he says. I don't think the money's the issue either there. So he may as well just come out and say it instead of beating around the bush. But
yeah,
look, it was a terribly officiated game. I don't know how Klein, if he doesn't get dropped, questions need to be asked. But the thing is, it was terribly officiated both ways. He just had a shocking game. It was one of those good quality rugby league games where we should have been talking about how close a contest it was. Yet instead we left, and in our group chat, we were talking about all the mistakes that Klein had made. What I said and what I've always said is you can't come out and blame a referee in that situation because good teams find a way to win. It's as simple as that. And they didn't find a way to win. Melbourne had as many excuses as them, as many things go wrong. So, yeah, like if he's feeling the pressure, look, you're going to live on your past success for so long, and clubs can only look after coaches based on past success so long, or past genuine improvements, I guess some would call it. But maybe he's just getting stale. Maybe he needs a change. Like maybe the best thing for Trent Robinson would be to go to a new club, a good 45 minutes away with a loyal supporter base, and a lot of members.
Brand new stadium as well.
Brand new stadium, good training facilities. So if he needs a change up, maybe it should happen.
Frango's just down the road as well. Beautiful place to pull up stumps, I reckon, on an evening. Yeah, exactly. Andrew brought it up as well. The Teddy trip. Like, I just want to touch on that before. Parramatta fans, I know a lot of you are in here already. You're starting to build in. We're going to get to it next, I promise. But I think we will need to talk about this first because that, for mine, was a blatant trip. And how he, first of all, stayed on the field. Secondly, then the judiciary has time to look at it and still hasn't charged him for it and he's not missing weeks. I'm absolutely dumbfounded how he has avoided any sort of punishment there. Jesse, like, I know it's your mob, but what they say, money talks, it sort of starts to look that way.
Yeah, it definitely was. There's no saying I'm a Roosters supporter, and it wasn't because it wasn't. It for sure was, and I think it wasn't the only call that they kind of got away with, and maybe that's why they didn't charge it because there was just so many things happening that game that they probably could have gone and pointed a finger at. The Nelson push, if they really wanted to get up in arms about it, there was that much shit that happened, and Adam was right about it. The Roosters did nothing to help themselves to win that game. It wasn't like there was one call that was like, oh, that was controversial enough to cause the result to change. It was back and forth the whole game. And really, they didn't really put up any chances for them to win. I didn't feel like Melbourne did too much either, but they kind of at least finished their chances. So wasn't anything exciting. It was definitely a blatant trip. He got away with murder on that one, but supposed to just move to next week. There was a few things that Melbourne did as well that they got away with at the same time. So it's just write that game off, just move on with it. But then you start to look back, next week there'll be another game with another set of teams just like that one, where things will get punished. People will get, a couple of weeks off here and there. And then they'll just be going, what happened to that Roosters Storm game last week? Like, are we not paying any attention to this? So I think in the last 2 weeks, officiating's just gone to shit. We're talking about it every single episode that we do. Is just something's happening somewhere, and it's just getting pretty ridiculous, really. So,
and it is a shame because I feel like that game just didn't ever get to live up to the hype that it normally has between the Storm and the Roosters, which for mine was a shame because I actually think it was a pretty poor game of football considering the two teams that it was and the caliber of players on that field. And I think the referee didn't help that. But one game where the referee had a fantastic performance because all they did basically was award tries for majority of the second half to a Dolphins team and probably sweating their absolute balls off. It's the Parramatta Eels. We have to go there, unfortunately. Not much we want to talk about. We're fired up. We're over it. We're pissed off. Adam wants to fold the club, and I'm not too far behind him with saying that as well. I know there's a lot of you in the comments that have your say. We'll pop it up on the screen. But, Adam, everyone's seen my rants, so I've got stuff to say, but I want to go to you first because – honestly, I've had enough. Like, it's 2 performances like this in 3 weeks. And to be honest with you, even the Cowboys one wasn't good. So I'm happy to say it's just been 3 or 4 weeks in a row of shit. And the club continues to just, whatever. We'll keep going.
You're not going to get a rant because I'm the same as you. I'm emotionally at a point now where I've invested so much money and so much of my time, so many hours driving to games, kilometers, and I guess, the emotion as well. I'm at a point now where I just don't give a fuck anymore. Like, that's the point I'm at. The club doesn't give a fuck about results. The coach doesn't give a fuck about results. He gets into a press conference and he calls players out, yet he won't do a fucking thing about it. So if Jez was here, he'd be having absolute fucking going nuts with that beeping sound, that's for sure. So, that's the point I'm at.
We love the beeping sound.
It's how long can you invest your time in it anymore? Because, look, I'll go back to 2022, and 2022 was a time I needed Parramatta to do something because I needed going on in my life. Like I said, I've discovered, recently there's just so much more than footy. Like, I'm sitting here a week ago starting to plan a trip to Vegas to follow a football team I love. Yet you watch the shit on Friday night. They can't turn up. They don't care. And it starts at the front office. It starts there because you've got a general manager of a club who doesn't seem to care and wants to make calls. You got a coach who just reads from the classic coach rulebook and says, this is what happened, but I'm not going to fix it. We haven't got any players coming through because they fuck off for other opportunities because they know they're not going to be given a chance. And like Andrew said, they care about the money more. Comes from the CEO, Jim, what's his last name? I can't say it. It starts with S, some shit like that, whatever his fucking last name is. He comes out and makes stupid comments about caring more about money than results. It doesn't matter as long as you get the money. Sarantino, there you go. It's an absolute joke. Without your fans, without your sponsors, you're fucking nothing. So pull your heads in, start sorting shit out. Because if you don't start sorting shit out soon, all the loyal fans are slow. I was talking to a bloke yesterday at football. Parramatta fan for 42 years. I said to him, I knew he was. I said, oh, what do you think of us? And he goes, mate, I jumped ship to the Dolphins last year because I'm sick of being sick of the club not caring. I'm sick of taking my kids down to games and getting no interaction with the players. I'm sick of everything. Everything we've been saying for years, it's been going wrong. They don't want to fix and they don't care. So my final say is I'm at my wit's end now. I'm going to Magic Round in a couple of weeks. I'm going to be taking the approach Matt did soon. The only time I'll be going to the Parramatta games now is when my young fella wants to go or if they're pre-planned because I quite simply just couldn't give a shit until things change. And the laughing. Sorry, one more. Well, I'm ranting now. The laughing. The fucking laughing with your mates at full time, right? I wish I could be on $400,000, $500,000 to play football. It's a job. Like, if I don't do my job, I can't sit there and laugh about it and go, I just fucking didn't do my job. There's consequences. Don't act so smug because you're happy sitting there with your mates or whatever. Like, you've let your team down. You've let your fans down the way you played. So you should be let down yourself. Okay, and that's all. I'm done. I could rant for hours. Tuesday night, guys. I'll build up some more emotion, but that's when Joel's really going to go off as well.
I can't wait to hear that.
Look,
to be honest,
I will. Oh, maybe you do want to wait, but Jesse, I'll go to you first as the non-Parra fan here, and just see what you saw from things first. I want to know, without the passion behind it, without the emotion, if it's as bad as what we are looking at, being obviously supporters, watching it day in, day out, breathing it.
Well, yeah, it is, man. Like it's so noticeable how fast that team gives up. You know, when the going gets tough, there is not a single person that wants to stand up. And you know, they were letting in unanswered points like 3 minutes at a time. Like you're thinking, how does this happen to a professional side? Like you get anyone, you can get a bunch of boys out there that are going to put more effort in. Um, and I just don't know how they fix it, to be honest with you. Like I follow Chelsea as a football club, and they're in a very similar position where they just don't have experience and they're doing shit. And there's players there that are laughing about it after the games. They just lost in the FA Cup, and then there's people laughing in the background. Some players are crying because they want to obviously win, but then it's deep rooted, that kind of thing. And if it's obviously the management's gone to shit, they don't listen or respect anyone happening above them. They're not going to perform regardless. But it's like you still have to have that sense of like professionalism. You got to go out and you want to win a game. It doesn't seem like anyone actually wants to win a game in that side. I don't know. Obviously, the passion between you two is massive, and you can kind of deep dive and pick everything apart and really dissect it all. But just looking at it from an outside perspective, it's like fuck. I can't see. Sometimes when you see a team go down and you think, oh, okay, like they definitely want it more, but things aren't going their way. You don't get that with the Eels this season anyway, as far as I've been watching them. They'll go down and then it's just like, well, we had our lead and it's not going to come back anymore. So let them just walk over you. Like, I really don't see where they get better unless it's just, Moses comes back and everything goes back to normal again. But
no, it's an attitude problem too, though. Like you said,
yeah.
Like I'm getting back in, but
yeah,
it's an attitude problem, and it's blokes like said giving up. It comes down to coaching as well. Like, fuck this Darwin game. We've struggled up there in the end of games for 10 years. Doesn't matter if we've won or lost. There's physically been a point of success. So I could see our hooker was screwed after 4.5 minutes, yet he's still on the field at the end of the game, and he's where they ran through. Our middle forwards, yet he doesn't prepare for that. Like shorter stints, like would be a great option. A different bench, work smarter. Like the reason the Dolphins ran over top is they had a much more mobile, quicker, younger through the middle. It didn't matter about their size. It doesn't matter about his size when you run around big blokes. Like we try to physically get over the top of them when we didn't need to do that. We just needed, we had Blaze there. The whole point was to bring Blaze on the middle of the field, and he didn't know what to fucking do with him until RC went down. He's just Arthur out. I'm not saying anymore.
Yeah. The interchange from him has just been dog shit for fucking forever. Like, and it's going to happen too. Like, even with Blaze on the bench, you're like, everyone was saying it all week. He's probably not even going to get on the field. And I don't think he would have, to be honest, had everything, not happen the way it did. But like, yeah, you could see even Lussick from the second half. I think he just went backwards in general for like everything that he was doing. So, and then you've got another 11 blokes out there as well, besides the other two just doing fuck all. Like there was just nothing happening. I don't know. They have to bounce back from that. Surely you can't. If that happens again next week, you have to be almost guaranteeing Brad Arthur's going to be down and out after that. Surely.
Oh. And honestly, the way it's going, Manly at Brookvale Friday night, I can see it getting 50. I can see it getting embarrassing very, very quickly. And look, they weren't great against the Titans. I know that, but they're coming off a hard game against the Warriors, where we saw the Warriors, how they performed. That would have taken a bit out of them. I reckon now with 6-day turnaround for them, they'll just chill, sit back. Trust me, what happened to them at Combank about a month ago and something now, they'll still be burning from that. They'll come out and want to put a real big target on us and make an example of the club. But talking about this game and talking about how the club is at the moment, and there's a lot of people talking, there's a lot of people saying stuff. What I don't understand sort of thing, like Troy, I know you're saying it as well, is what's the point of ranting, raving and stuff? You know what the point is to start getting a message out there, to start getting things known to people at the club, because trust me, they'll find ways to find things. They'll be looking at things at the moment. They delete comments all the time. It's ridiculous. They've got people out there looking at this stuff. They know it's getting hotter and hotter. The heat's starting to really rise for them. I can tell. There's an interview. I don't know if anyone has read it yet, but Buzz did with our bloody who knows what he's freaking. I've never seen the bloke before, but apparently he's one of our big bosses of the club. And nice to show your face finally, mate. But you literally said nothing, and all he did say was there's no pressure under the coach at the moment. How can you say that out of what we're performing at the moment? If you're going to take a game to Darwin, that's just an excuse. The Darwin game being Darwin, no worries. The Dolphins had to play in the conditions as well, and they tore us apart. So that's not an excuse for the club to go, oh, it's hot. The players, no, you had like players like Regan Campbell-Goodard was getting pushed to the absolute limit out there. He played like a 25-minute, 30-minute stint at the start when he should have played 20-minute at most. And you just keep rotating, you keep doing your interchanges properly, and things happen. Why you rant and rave about this stuff? Why you say stuff in the comments? Like I've seen them put a post out there yesterday about being out in the community with Darwin, how it was all good, and then some people getting up, people going, why are you keeping the agendas going, blah, blah, blah. The reason they're doing it is because they want to get their voices heard. They want to get their message out there, which they're entitled to do, because the shit that we're copying now, as Adam said, the money we fork in on a yearly basis, if we're sitting there watching players that literally don't give a shit, and it looks like coaching staff now don't give a shit either. They're on the sidelines having a joke after the game. I can cop, if Joel Fangari after the game, even though it pissed me off to start with, the more I think about it, I can cop that. I can't cop coaching staff going down to the fields to talk to Dolphins players, having a laugh with them after the game. Wait till afterwards you're in the sheds and stuff and away from the cameras. Don't do it in the public eye. It's just not a good look. It looks like you don't give a shit, and that's the end. Just don't do it.
Just on what you said about the club and deleting comments and stuff, I've experienced this firsthand. They've put up one post since Friday night after that flogging. Now, I've got it up, the stats. Full-time, 3,000 comments on that post. Now, 3,000 comments is obviously huge on a post for a loss. They put up stuff during the game. Out of the likes and that, there was 726 angry reactions, 1,000 haha, which is obviously other fans. 665 people still fucking liked it somehow. So, I don't know where they fit into as fans, idiots. But the fact they haven't put another post up, because once again, you said the next post they put up had so much heat on it. The club knows there's shit going on, but they just don't know how to deal with it. Like, no one knows what's going on and how they can fix it. The only way they can fix it is a clean sweep and start again. All right. O'Neill out, simple as that. Arthur out. Whoever else needs to fall. Like, we can literally go over there and fucking play, what's that? Duck, duck, goose. And if you're the goose, you're gone. Let me pick it. Let the fans pick it. Simple as that. We move on, please.
Take years to recover, though, even with everyone out.
Well, everyone says that, but it hasn't taken Brisbane that long. It hasn't taken Brisbane that long, really.
Yeah, but Brisbane, they got Adam Reynolds in. They got a couple little pieces. They kind of had something going already, and they were like, cool, we need this. We're going to get this. We need a halfback. We're going to get one. We're going to get a coach that can actually do anything. Fuck Seabold off. You're going to get some people in that are going to make a difference. It doesn't really make, like, you see it all the time in these clubs, just anywhere, in any code, they'll just flood their whole thing. And they'll go, okay, we're going to get all these coaching staff in, we're going to get this whole new dressing room in, and we're just going to hope everything works. Half the time it goes worse. It goes to shit. You just got to get a couple of key figures and things will start to transition, but obviously nothing's happening.
I believe in our spine, and I'm not talking about our current spine, and in our club, not so much depth. With a better coach, we still have a team that can challenge to win the comp. If we play people in the right positions and start dropping the right people, we have a team that can win the comp. It's as simple as that. Yeah, well, or challenge to win the comp.
It's almost the same as it was a few years ago when they were in the grand final. So obviously they can win a comp, or they can get very close to it. But the ideas have gone to shit, and the dressing room's gone. Like, there's no structure. There's nothing. They just need to get something to fix that. They've
got to change their attitude. They've got to change.
Yeah. Well, they don't need to replace 20 people. They need to replace 3, 4. You know what I mean? Like, just do it properly.
No one at the club knows how to do. No one knows how to do that at the club. That's the thing. So
exactly.
that is the current unfortunate thing.
Jamal Fogarty got injured here, eh?
Yeah, that sucks. He's killing it too.
Finally. Look, there's a lot of people still going on about it, and we'll go back to it at the end, guys. If you have any questions regarding it, we're trying not to make it the full Parra podcast. We have those to come on the Tuesday night, and then we'll obviously on the Wednesday live show. If we need to go back to it, if there's any developments over the last couple of days with things, we'll obviously go back to that as well. But clearly, we're not happy. we need answers, we need changes, and we can't just keep sitting around not doing anything, not saying anything, and just keep telling the club they're doing a great job when they're clearly not. Stop being. This is your chance to not be a one-eyed fan, not just pump the club's tires up for the sake of it. And I know there's a couple of people out there. One starts with a J, ends in an N. That follows the page a lot, and shout out to you, Jen, because you do it a lot. And do not be those types of fans who just, no matter what, you will tell the club they're doing great. This isn't the time to be doing that, because trust me, not just because we've got our halfback out and we're up at Darwin doesn't mean you're putting those types of performances. There were so many players out there that didn't want to be there. The shirtless pics and stuff, like, it does my head in. Like, you're not there to be models. You're not there to show off. Like, you're there to train. You're there to do a job. When things aren't going right, knuckle down, do it better. We need Bennett. That's all I'll say. Moving on, the Canberra Raiders, unfortunately, losing Jamal Fogarty in probably the biggest blow so far. Now, if there's a club who can stress about not having a halfback on their hands, it's these guys, because they currently don't have any halfback depth at the club, which is why they need Ethan Sanders so much. To be honest, I would not be surprised in the current state and how he's being treated at the Eels if he does seek a release this week. And to be honest, I wish the club will grant it, because he deserves a shot. They're not going to clearly use him. There's an agenda against him, so let him go and play some football. Would love to see him go and tear it up, because I believe he can do it at NRL level. But it's a huge blow, Adam. I know you mentioned it to try and change the subject, but it really is, because Fogarty, shout out to him. I think he was leading our League of Inches Player of the Year awards at the moment as well. So he's probably been the best player in the competition. So this is huge.
Yeah, development, the way he's taking control of that team with White and not there, his kicking game's been incredible. So I've touched on that before. They're done without him. It's as simple as that, no matter what they do. Look, you're right. I think if Sanders isn't named this week for Parramatta, there's a fair chance he ends up in Canberra. We should propose a three-way, to be honest. Like, not us three. Parramatta, St. George, and Canberra. I think Parramatta should say to Canberra, you can have Sanders. If you give St. George someone like Nick Kotrick floating around in reserve grade, not getting used, then we take Lomax. It'd be a great option. Yeah, and that sounds like a much better three-way than me, you, and Joel, Jesse. So I know you got excited there for a bit. Like, I'd like to tickle your beer, but not in that way.
I don't know. Just come out of nowhere. I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah, but look, I think, yeah, they're done without him. It's as simple as that. There's a fair chance of Sanders' name he'll end up there soon.
Yeah.
And the one that's really
I wish the kid all the best. I wish the kid all the best.
So do I.
Yeah. Hope he fucking kills it.
The person who's hurting the most out of this is myself, because he's in all my draft teams at the moment, Jamal Fogarty, and he's been killing it. So this is the huge blow for me personally. I think I might go down there and just try and help him recover a bit quicker if I can, because I really need him. This is a massive blow.
It's his bicep, isn't it, Joel? I don't know what you're going to do to him. I get you're going to help him out. So we don't need to use his arm anymore. Yeah, okay.
Is that free?
I'll help you.
This is getting dark, this podcast. What are you two been doing all weekend?
1,200 people traded him in this week too. Just going back to the Aussie
Jesse,
stats.
6 cents.
Rough. That sucks. But yeah, no,
you're in one of those drafts, Jesse, so you get to reap that with the champ. I am currently first, by the way, guys, so that's why I'm a bit more Debo about it. But this is a big blow.
Would have been an easy win had Ponga not even play. Just don't even play. What was the point?
He didn't play.
Yeah, well, that was the problem. I put him out there because he looked like he was on for something. You should have just fucking left him off the game. Would have made more sense.
You took a gamble on that one, didn't you?
Gamble responsibly, kids. But yeah, no, unless depending if they get the Sanders thing going on, obviously Kyle Weeks is kicking about. Do you think either of the 2 Weeks or Strange could be halfback interim wise, because they got nothing else to work with?
They have to. They probably have to go Strange and Weeks. Strange and Weeks is their halves, which isn't ideal at the moment because Weeks has not been killing it in reserve grade or anything. He still isn't pushing for a spot. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. They've got that many backline players that maybe you just put someone else, one of their centers or wings at 6 and just say, run the footy for us.
Didn't they put a second rower at the time when he went down?
There's too much pressure on a kid, though. Either way, they're screwed. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
They put Strange. Strange is playing great footy, but to get him to control a team, look, my prediction, I know Canberra are currently sitting in 7th, but we wouldn't spoon things back on, I think. Come on, Canberra.
Wonder what the odds are now
Hey,
for Canberra. after that.
we're below them, so don't get too excited the way we're going. So, but yeah, so unfortunate news there, Fogarty. You have been killing it. Wish you all the best, speedy recovery. I think I've heard so far about 12 weeks, so you should get back just before finals football. But the Raiders need to, if there is a team that's sort of a one-player team at the moment, it's probably them with just how good he's going and he's organising. His kicking game is exceptional. The Newcastle Knights, Adam's favourite topic, to try and cheer him up after Parramatta demolition jobs. I want to talk about Adam OBrien because seriously, I was watching the coverage today and I had to do a double take and I actually rewind the tape for his pre-game interview, and they asked him why he picked Gamble and swapped him out for Cogger, and his words along the lines of this was, he's the only one from last year that's on that edge at the moment available, so I'm going to pick him because it worked last year. We're 7 rounds into a new season, mate. We're not playing 2023 football anymore. Everything's changed, and Gamble has done absolutely shit all this year so far. So Cogger was at least starting to work things there with Hastings. I think their combination was starting to sort of take off a little bit more pressure off Ponga. But so far this year with Ponga there as well, Hastings and Gamble has done absolutely nothing for Ponga and that back line for the Newcastle Knights. So it was a massive step backwards from the start of that game. As a Supercoach player, I should have seen the early warning signs and aborted mission, but I didn't. But Adam, it's first of all, to be thinking like that, like for mine, I feel like the run for Newcastle last year, that 10 straight, has actually sort of become a huge problem for the Newcastle Knights, because I don't think Adam OBrien is the man for him moving forward in a coaching aspect, because I think he's already run out of answers and we're 7 rounds into the comp.
Yeah, look, I can't do the voice because Jeremy's not here, but it's really a time we need it. But yeah, it's like, the boys played pretty hard today. Right, but look, why you make a change for a team that his team just got beat? Yeah, we all speak the same up here. He just got beat last year by the Roosters. I know the Roosters had players missing, but it wasn't that bad really. And to make a change is just fucking stupid. Campbell, to his credit, played good in reserve grade the week before I watched it. That's where he belongs, in reserve grade though. Yeah, he was probably close to being fired before they went on that run and touched on the dick with an easy draw. They went 1 win, 2 win, 3 wins. Made their halves seem not like reserve graders. Kalen Ponga, unjustly shouldn't have got to Dally M, but got to Dally M. And I'm just sitting back going, I fucking told you so. So I told you to everyone at the start of the year, the Knights are a bottom 14. They'll go close to getting a spoon. As you said, the only good thing about the weekend is they got smashed. They're still below us, and they'll stay below us. I can't see anything getting any better for Newcastle. I guess for Parramatta, there's improvement when Moses returns, but Newcastle, they're in trouble. It's going to be another long year for Newcastle, and what a glorious fucking thing it is.
And at the moment, there's no news on the Ponga injury, but I'm expecting it's going to be at least a couple of weeks with whatever it is that's ended up happening to him. Already in a moon boot, etc. So why he pushed him and played him today when it was clearly, even the first half before that injury occurred, he could hardly sort of move. He wasn't himself. I think he took 1 or 2 runs maximum, and he was hardly any of the backline moves.
He was carrying a hit pointer last week. Was it the same? I didn't see the game. It was the same injury.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently, it was a hit pointer, and I think he did something to his foot or something because his foot was in a moon boot.
Has he still got that sore throat from the Bali trip, or he's gotten over that?
Just keeps reoccurring for some reason. No one knows why.
Late night languages. This is the best time to be in our videos because it gets a bit loose. Jesse, I know Adam has a strong hatred towards Newcastle, so he's not afraid to say those things. But at the moment, it's hard to disagree, especially with some of the things that Adam OBrien's doing and continuing to do. They need, at this time of year, you need to be leaving players and picking and sticking, not continuing to change when it's unnecessary and unforced sort of changes.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing too. The mention is it's completely unnecessary. Like there was no reason for them to change again. Like they got beat by 2 points against the Roosters. It's not like they didn't play terribly. It wasn't like they got flogged like the Eels. You know what I mean? Like they're not going to chop and change drastically out of nothing. No, but that's the thing. Like you would expect that kind of reaction to a club that just got belted. They didn't.
But it won't happen. Sorry, it won't happen at Parramatta. Don't think that's going to happen.
That's the thing. It won't happen there. So like you got one club that should be doing stuff to change that isn't, and then you got another club that for no reason, like, to be honest, like, yeah, Hastings and Cogger, they were starting to, you know, find their stride. There might not be the perfect combination, the two of them anyway, but it's the best they've got, or the best they've used, unless they get priced in and try that out now with Ponga out. At least, you know, you can see something happen there. But like, they could have done that instead of getting Gamble back in. Give Ponga a week off. Like, that would have actually made sense. But I just don't understand it. Like, there was no reason for it. I saw the notification coming today that Cogger's dropped, and I was like, well, was he injured? Like, what happened to him? No, just then you mentioned, because last year. I'm like, that was last year. Yeah.
The Bulldogs
What
are
are
a
you
much
doing
better
this
team
for?
too.
O'Brien.
Like, what does
Bulldogs
that
are a much
mean?
better team this year as well. I know Newcastle smashed the Bulldogs twice in like 5 weeks, but you can't base off that. Like, the Bulldogs.
Yeah,
are a
well,
team
Bulldogs,
up.
it's definitely like the Bulldogs aren't an easy beat anymore. It seems like they've actually turned over something. They're looking quite good. So why would you go back to being shit again? Like, why would you just put the half that you've dropped a couple of weeks ago a few times back in? I just none of it made sense to me. It's a fucking mystery. But
no easy beats at a core stadium, only Bali. Moving on.
The Bulldogs are playing well, so give them credit while credit's due. The last point in this game, and Adam, you probably didn't see because you're too busy watching the musical, so I'll talk to Jesse about this one. But Reid Marnie and Jack Hetherington, I know Jesse's a bit fired up about this one, so he does want to say something, so I'll save that for him for the Wednesday show. So guys, be aware he's coming in with a bit of a rant around. I think Hetherington, I think he's over him and basically wants to ship him off to probably Super League at this point and get him out of the club ASAP. But I just want to quickly say for Reid Marnie, who I will say right now, I think he's started the year very, very well. But what I have noticed is this sort of flog type attitude come into his game a lot, especially this year, where he's just continually getting into this sort of shit fight sort of situations where he's just into people unnecessarily for most of the time as well, just to sort of prove a point and trying to prove someone who is not. Reid, like, I know you've probably never watched this, but you don't need to. You're actually playing well this year. Just stick to the football side of things because you're killing that. Don't turn into an absolute flog. You don't need to do that.
He is a Queenslander. It's natural for Queenslanders to be flogs. But
True.
at least he finally copped a bit today and someone wasn't afraid to actually give him a crack. Like, he needs a punch in the face. It's as simple as that. Like, he needs one off a big bloke because ever since this no punch rule, exactly right. These young little hookers and halfbacks and wingers think they can go with the real men that actually play tough footy, and they can't.
Yeah,
I did see it actually. I walked out musical. I was in the casino at that point, like watching it on the TV. So
yeah, because they can get away with it.
Funny as well when you see the footage in the tunnel when Hetherington actually goes at him. He's serious about it. He's sort of like, you can tell in his facial expressions, Reid, that he's sort of like, oh shit, I'm shitting myself now. Like, this is real.
Yeah,
I don't want to borrow this.
Yeah, he was all by himself. But like, Hetherington was bouncing. It looked like he was joking for a second, and then he fucking jabs him, and I was like, wait, are they on? Like, I don't know what's going on here. And then Reid's just standing there, you know, backing up. Needs all his boys around him. But yeah, maybe it's just he's been in Bankstown 1 year enough.
No one likes niggly hookers either. So we'll just leave that one on that point. It's just
Bankstown hookers.
Last one at the moment, the Cowboys. And look, I put something out there that may have been a bit harsh at the time, but the more I think about it, the more I think it's correct. Are they the ultimate pretenders, this North Queensland Cowboys team?
Well,
because
you don't even have to finish this sentence. You had them fucking winning the comp a few weeks ago on one of your other posts. You put that thing up and said how well they're going. I'll go back and find it. You put that thing up. Are the Cowboys the real deal or something, mate? They're pretenders. They've been pretenders the whole time. They've played no one. Yeah, I told you last week. They've played no one.
Interacting.
Yeah. They're shit. They're going to finish where I said they're going to finish. They're going to finish 9th to 12th if they're lucky. But I don't care how easy their draw was. They're in trouble. They've got nothing. Like, there's a chance. Well, they won't lose to Eden Origin this year at all. So it might be the 18th man potentially. He usually finds himself around that. No, they're shit, the Cowboys. They've played no one. Pretenders.
Yeah. Well, their whole thing has been outscore the opponent because their defense is rubbish. They let tries in for fun, but they just score more than everyone else. So it's like, okay, cool. But today they scored 1. It's like the only thing that they've got going for them at the moment. That couldn't click. So it really exposed them. They just got run over. Sort of one-trick pony, really. Shut them down, and you can just walk through them. No good.
It's an interesting. It's really interesting because on paper, and I've seen some people put some comments on some of the posts this afternoon about him and say on paper they're right up there, and they're sort of is Todd Payton sort of in the same boat as say Brad Arthur as well, where there should be a lot more pressure on him that they're sort of not delivering with that sort of roster that they've got. Is it an aging roster or something? What is going on up there? Are they living off again their past last couple of years where they made that semi-final against Parra, and are they treating that as a success because they've only gone downhill since that point, similar to the Eels? But for the Cronulla Sharks, quickly, boys, where do we see them at the moment? Because that's another pretty good performance. They're sitting at the top of the ladder. Look, it's always fair to say they've had an easy draw or something like that, but at the same time, they are putting the points on. They are keeping their defense right on tact as well, that they're quite a good defensive side at the moment. It's all good signs for the Cronulla Sharks at the moment. If they can keep it up, I want to see them versus a really informed sort of Storm or Panthers sort of team or a Broncos team and see where they're really sitting. But at the moment, they're passing the test with flying colours.
It doesn't matter what they do. Like you said, you want to see them play someone. They don't play the Storm till round 10. They play Canberra next week now without Fogarty. The week after, they play a very inconsistent St George team, which is usually a good game when those two play each other. They'll be top of the table come Magic round in round 11. And obviously that Melbourne game shaping up to be a top of the table clash as well. But it doesn't matter what they do. Every year they get the finals and they shit the bed because of this easy run they constantly seem to get. And we're never going to get a fair comp and be able to have a fair say on teams until we play each other twice. I just don't know why that doesn't happen in the modern game, to be honest. Make the comp longer. I don't care what you need to do. Kick a couple of teams out. Like, we don't need the Knights. We don't need... You can take
Eels the way it's going.
You can take the Tiger, follow the club, like simple as that.
Oh goodness me! Look, guys, we're pretty much going to wrap things up very, very shortly. So, get a couple of questions in. We have like probably 2 or 3 minutes to answer a few. Some fun ones. We always like those ones as well. A shout out to Adam, who is under a bit of pain. It's been a big day for him, and he's come on last minute to just come and see you guys and have a chat. So fire some questions, make him laugh, make him a bit happy. Thank Jesse for jumping on as well. Boys, while we're getting the questions, I've got one for you. I personally have the view of it's Penrith Panthers and literally daylight and then more daylight and then more daylight until the next team is up off the ranks, including, say, the Storm. The Broncos are probably next in line. But for mine, even without Cleary and stuff, Panthers are so far ahead of the competition at the moment. It's actually scary. Like, do you boys think there's anyone else in this competition that can win it at this stage, or it's literally just Penrith?
Broncos have looked all right, as much as I don't like saying it. I can't see anyone else being a threat to them. Genuinely, it's like that. It's been like that for years too. It's just Penrith and daylight. You can never write Melbourne off, especially towards like the back end side of things when it actually comes to winning big games. So that's where you can't really rely on the Sharks ever. Like, Sharks can be first. They can win the minor all they want. The first round of finals comes and they're out. You know what I mean? It's you just kind of know how things work when it comes around to this sort of stuff. It doesn't really seem to change much though. Penrith will win comfortably, I reckon, again this year. Broncos will probably, contend quite well. I can't see Melbourne really dropping off. I don't know where you go. Maybe Warriors fourth, but again, inconsistent sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like, who knows?
I can only say 3 teams. Like, Cronulla are obviously consistent. I don't think they're ever going to be a threat for quite a while. But literally Melbourne, Penrith, and Brisbane. Brisbane's starting to find that form. I think anyone else is going to get close to those teams at the moment. We got a choice question. That's actually a cracking question. I've thought of a cracking response straight away.
Yeah. Just quickly, shout out to Paul, the gifted membership. So jump on that, guys. That is very much appreciated once again, Paul. Back to back as well with that. So absolute legend of a bloke. We're going to meet you soon, Paul. There is an announcement coming up shortly, which I think we're going to have confirmed by the Wednesday show. So be ready for that, guys. It's a huge prize, actually, that someone up towards the Brisbane area will want to have by Magic Round. Let's just put it that way. So very big prize. Let's get to some of the quick questions that came in. Honestly, before Troy's, quickly, the producer, stacking coaches, there is not that many players get the big bucks yet. I understand this. I also think at the moment there's a lot of coaches who are sort of not very good in a way. Like, I just think there's a lot of like around sort of the traps around sort of New South Wales Cup and Queensland Cup and the like and Super League and that. There's some other coaches around that deserve chances and they're not getting it. So look, the players are on the players, but I also think there's some coaches out there that could do with it. So let's go to Troy. If you Adam, if you wrote a musical about rugby league, what would it be called, and who would be the major star?
Does anyone else want this? Because I've got the answer. I've come up with the perfect one as well. I just need to quickly fact check something. My one would be called "Blow Up the Pokies," the Nathan Highmarsh story, featuring the music of the Whitlands and other Australian bands.
I'd watch it. I'd go there.
I reckon that'd be great.
It was directed at Adam, but Jesse, have you got one off the top of your head? I've got nothing.
No, I got nothing. It's been a long night. Sorry, boys.
I've got nothing.
I'll play Nathan.
I don't watch. Honestly, I'm not well vested in musicals. Shocker.
No. Andrew, here we go. Jesse, you can go this one then. Favorite? What's everyone's favorite food? Andrew, there's a lot of food questions from you every week, but
yeah, we're gonna have to send out. We're gonna have to.
I've just noticed there's a trend.
100%.
We're gonna have to send out. We're gonna have to send out another shirt with another X on it soon, Andrew, to keep bringing these up. I love a good potato bake because I make one, but cob loaf, you can't go past cob loaf.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say as well. There's two. There's potato bake and cob. That's it. If I see a potato bake or a cob anywhere, I'm just beelining straight to it. Usually picking up the whole plate and walking away with it. So, hands down. Fuck, I love potato bake.
Don't. Make sure you get on that gifted sub as well, guys. How good is that? That's it. That's all we've got time for. A quick one in and out. Getting it done, Adam. Appreciate you in pain. Needing to get to bed. Go take 20 bloody Panadol or something. Get put to sleep, and we'll see you again, guys, Tuesday for the Parra fans. If you want to hear some more fired up stuff, and Troy, get ready because I no doubt there's going to be some fireworks for that one. And then the Wednesday show will be back as well, guys. So make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Let's get to that 1K ASAP. We are chasing that goal to get hit by the end of this season, hopefully earlier. But enjoy, guys.
One more. Probably too soon, but we're going with it anyway. Troy, The Gambler, Songs of Kenny Rogers, the Ryan Tandy story. All right.
On that note.
Oh, thank you, guys. Yeah, on that note, we're out. Go and enjoy your Sunday night. Thanks for spending a bit of that time with us. We really do appreciate it. Thanks again to Paul and the Mark, all the subscribers who have jumped on and watched the show, for the gifted subs, all the like. We will see you all in a matter of days. Enjoy your night.